Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestors.co's daily brief. Needless to say, it's a little bit insane out there today. I thought actually probably is a good public service because a lot of people are like, oh man, I can't wait to see what Brian's daily brief is going to be like today. Thought I'd actually just do it out there for the internet. So if anybody wants to watch this, you can sort of see what we're watching at the TRI site, and who knows how long this will be, but let's go look at the book and see what we got. Okay, our little algoinator, engineinator. Interestingly enough, it was actually pointing a bit higher here on that massive dead cat bounce for Hillary when they announced, the FBI had announced that they had, closed the second investigation. I think on balance, what we really should be taking away from the algo is this idea that if you ever get into a situation where you see the market get heavily embedded on either the buy or sell side, that's probably an indication that we're getting near some sort of pivot. And late last week into that last weekend before the election, that's sort of what we got. But let's call a spade a spade. I don't think anybody expected what happened last night out of the U.S. to happen. There was a couple key things that really caught my attention, and I think this has really, really got to speak to us. Basically, this Donald Trump won because Whitey said, "Hey, enough's enough." I think that to a certain degree, there's a bit of a backlash to the Obama presidency. To this globalization theme, to Whitey just simply being diluted. And I think they spoke very loudly last night. I mean, you can clearly see that all of the ethnic vote, the Latino vote, all basically went for Clinton, and Whitey just basically voted for Trump. And so as a result, Trump won. I thought it was really interesting that the pussy grabber could garner this much of the white woman vote. It just goes to show that, man, these white women do not like Hillary Clinton. And really, I think it was Clinton's election to lose, and she lost it. We're making, I thought it's hilarious. These kind of tweets, right? What's going on at the Canadian border? I mean, it's going to take some time for this to settle out. And I'm telling people, if anything, this should be a really, really good lesson in that we really, we're best served as investors and as traders when you see big fundamental news events coming, and really the same thing happened with the silly Brexit. You're best as a trader just to get the fuck out of the market. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but really, that's what you're supposed to do. When I was a prop trader, basically every time we had a big fundamental news event come and hit the market, you had better be out of your positions, or geez, in Nebraska, he could quite literally fire you on the spot. It was interesting through last night's big tanking, right? At one point, this was just one big honking red candle. And we had actually in our lounge mused about the fact that, hey, this is actually coming down into a buying window here, which I find fascinating because last night when I posted that, hey, and I was even posting things like now I should be starting to look for, buy when it snows kind of stuff. I certainly didn't expect this to happen in one bloody day, that's for sure. It's up and down like a horse drawers. We were short off of the top, and ironically enough, I took profits ahead of this event because really this is why you shouldn't trade through these fundamental events, guys. This is just really, really dangerous stuff, and you don't know what the hell's going to happen. I bet you if you asked 100 different quote-unquote market prognosticators yesterday, none of them said that this was going to happen. Not only, I mean, there was one point last night when we were turning on the TV where the Dow futures were down like 850 points and the S&P futures were locked limit at 5% down. The S&P futures here were down 100 points. Look at this. We're actually up 8 points now. What the fuck? I think on balance, you can see the resistance levels. I think we could easily rally right up into here. And as we had on our ES chart there a moment ago, that would carve out this very well-defined head and shoulders where the Brexit and now the U.S. election are acting as pivots for the market. And really, we're now into sort of a really funny time of the calendar. Technically, there's sort of like a vacuum because Trump and now what's really scary is the Republican Party has taken complete control of the U.S. Congress. So ironically enough, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the Democrats winning Congress and the presidency, and what are the worries, the concerns around one party controlling the U.S. government? Well, I would argue that the exact opposite scenarios happen, but the end result is still one party now controls the entire U.S. government. That is never good for the markets. The markets hate that kind of stuff. Because what it literally means is now the Republicans can go make a whole bunch of changes to policy. And, things like poor old environment. The environment's so fucked here. It's not even funny. Global warming, what the hell's that shit? I was reading through the rags this morning, and one area that these guys were saying that they're saying that the market's actually going to see a bit of a kickback is the energy business, because Trump has said that he wants to ramp up coal production, oil production, all of these things that are just killing global warming. And now basically with the Republicans in the control of the Congress and Trump basically as, he's going to actually look at this as a mandate. Oh boy, this is going to get crazy going forward. For whatever it's worth, anybody watching this, right? Especially site members, we just, really guys, you just got to let this settle down. We got to let this calm down. It's kind of like if you were trying to trade through the Brexit event. On the other side of the Brexit event, we had a big counter trend rally and then a consolidation, and you could have traded, on the buy side coming out of the consolidation. That's fine. Ironically enough, with this actually being as strong as it is, we might even get up into selling locations here relatively soon. But for the time being, I got to just let everything settle down. And that's my message to my membership right now is just cool your jets. We were short off the top. We took profits on this move down here, 50% roll right into here. And really, I've just left this alone. I don't even want to be part of this, right? I think one market that really has caught my attention, which I was a bit surprised about, was the US dollar. It's put in one hell of a reversal here. And kind of like the stock market, it's interesting how this dump last night did nothing more than just take the market back into a buying zone here. So that's fascinating. And I suppose it's interesting because this was the top last night and we dumped right into this harmonic objective. And on the other side of this, we've now rallied back up and broke this top here. Historically, as things go, this actually, it should be a topping event in the US dollar index. Republican presidents historically aren't very friendly to the US dollar. So we may see this roll over here. I suppose the final note we should probably mention here with regard to the stock market is we're in sort of a funny period right now. This is what's called the transition window. And it could go on for another, basically right through the end of the year. Obama himself is a lame duck. The Congress is now basically a lame duck Congress. There's not really much that they're going to be able to get done. And, you know, we got just a massive world of change coming in the new year. So I've actually suggested, and I think that it makes sense because we've seen this repeatedly over the past few years, that once we get into January and Trump is taking his position on his throne, that's when we'll probably see the stock market roll over. For the time being, this might be a lot of back and forth, and really until I start seeing setups, there's just nothing for me to do here. I'm just going to leave it alone. I thought it was interesting last night. You know, we probably we have a lot of crypto people that are in our community. Bitcoin here tried to rally up, you know, with the whole. It was interesting to watch things like gold market basically rallied up into a resistance. And I was kind of postulating last night in the lounge and stuff that I kind of started to see signs of maybe this was actually a shorting location. Look how we rallied up into this short location and we've just crapped right out. And what was interesting, and I don't even know if we can see it here, but on this move to new highs, none of the momentum indicators had moved to new highs, i.e. divergence. So when the market was up in this reload zone, gold was up like $50, whatever. We started to see signs of divergence. Again, you can even see on this update here, MACD histogram is not making new highs. Willie's nowhere near highs. And, you know, the irony of it all is when we drill down to the lower time frames, right? What a mess. I guess it doesn't really show here. Well, I guess we broke out just briefly up here. But that rally sure wasn't long lasted, eh? And I suppose you could argue, wow, one hell of an empire here. But again, you know, this big fundamentals, when big fundamentals hit the market, technicals usually go out the window. That's exactly what happened here. And really, my attitude is just leave this alone. Let the dust settle here for the next little bit. But kind of sad for the gold bugs. They were feeling pretty happy last night. Interestingly enough, you know, we mentioned oil just a moment ago. Hopefully you can see the noticeable bullish divergences building here. In fact, I might even argue on a bullish resolution of this consolidation in here. Not a bad idea to think about getting long. Probably going to go up and test the high of value up here. That's what, $49 a barrel, somewhere in there. And now, of course, Trump is gonna, you know, pound the table about, you know, growth and capitalism and all that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see oil catch a bid here as you know, we go through this transitionary period. And, you know, I guess you could argue just like the gold had reached upside potential reversal zones. We sort of saw that on the crude as well. You can see we came down, filled in some nice gaps here. In fact, it looks like there's still a bit of a gap to be filled in here. That was a reload zone, right? And you can see just based off of this profile how all this move was just a move back to the POC. You know, real nasty bearish momentum here. And really, you know, same sort of thing I mentioned a moment ago. If this thing takes the next month or two to sort of carve out a range in here and clean all this stuff up, that wouldn't surprise me one bit at all. And of course, we talk a little bit about, you know, it makes sense why gold and silver could move up recently as oil was moving down. Now maybe oil is going to start working its way back up. It makes sense that gold and silver might take a bit of a pause here. Okay, let's pop back on over to Bitcoin. Sorry, I got diverted there, but probably a good idea we talk a bit about that. All right, so recently the whole conversation has been about the Phoenix hack gap and could the market resolve through that. You know, for Phoenix people, you know, on Twitter and stuff, we had posted this nice little cup and handle, which was a bullish bot setup. Market ran up to move stop to break even. So basically, if you're long Bitcoin here, your stop should be at scratch. And really all this implies is that we're going to, if we make higher highs and higher lows and just keep churning our way higher, then you stay long. And the ultimate target on this bot setup is up around $900 or so, somewhere up in this area. It was interesting to watch last night, of course, as the US dollar was collapsing, as the stock market was collapsing, gold was zooming higher. Of course, Bitcoin finally got its act together and started to join the rally. And at one point, it was up a good 20, 30 bucks a coin. It is interesting to see how we've stalled. And really, if we drill down to a lower time frame, we can probably see this. Yeah, there it is. Interestingly enough, you can see on Phoenix, look at that beautiful little double top up there, eh? And so really all they've done here is they just rallied it right back up. In fact, they couldn't even get back to that original top. Right into here, they ran into just too much selling. I suppose one could argue we could go boobity-boo and boobity-boo, right? Give you another upside objective up in here. So, maybe Bitcoin's got another push ahead of it. It's interesting to see how we do not have any divergences working here just yet. We got a little mini divergence that came in there, which suggested that, hey, maybe this rally was a little bit too far, too fast here. But we don't have any massive double divergences working just yet here. At the same time, just like I had said in recent videos when I was doing the recent Coinigy shows and stuff like that, it's completely understandable for professionals to come in and short against these highs. Totally realistic, totally professional, totally normal. And if we crap out here, well, it's just top of the range. We probably need to go back down, test the bottom of the range. Big fucking deal. It's just the way the markets work. For me, I'm still kind of on the fence. You can see OBV is still moving up. We don't have any real volume impetus breakdowns here. I think both the camps are sort of very awake and just mulling over who's going to take control. Don't really have any clear signals in momentum. We did for a while there have a situation where the market was stupidly overbought, and you were best, if you were a bull, just to let things get unstupid. So that's sort of the process here of the market getting unstupid. And for a guy like me, it's still, I had posted recently that we had this bit of a diamond pattern forming here. Really, we got to let this thing play out. If we, if this is a bull, then just go up and take another $20, $30 from the market. Big fucking deal, right? Just bust it out. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. However, you can't be a buyer in here because the odds are we're actually at the top of the range and we have to come back down and swim down here. So with regard to Bitcoin, just not doing much right at the moment. But I will say on balance, if somebody was to ask me what are your sort of your anticipation going forward for Bitcoin, I hate to say it, but I think that Mr. Trump has injected a bunch of uncertainty in the market, which, ironically enough, just plays right into our fear greed cycle thesis. And really, I wouldn't be surprised to see gold, Bitcoin, all of that substantially higher over the coming years. But for the time being, I think we're still stuck in this little range right here. And I could argue really on balance, you want to just play the momentum of the market. You just simply follow that high as your buy signal, that low as your sell signal, and just play the resolution of this range. Where I've been suggesting people should be long from down here, right? All right. I suppose it's one good thing that people ought to take away from all this, and it's beautiful to watch. I don't know why. Well, I sort of do know why, because basically we're nice and diversified. But our little crypto account, with Bitcoin not really doing a hell of a lot and the altcoins all swimming around doing their thing, we actually made a new all-time high here overnight. We started this account with $500 a couple years ago, and now we're up at 62.29. Not bad, eh? Considering that we are just insanely diversified. We got 130 different cryptocurrencies on the books. And like I said, in this particular scenario, we just had one of our little coins just go nuts here. This one here just happens to be the flavor du jour. And you can see we banged off more doubles. And look at this damn thing. Just a strong, strong, strong. In fact, somebody asked me on Twitter, Brian, do you think there's a chance it can go back up to 25,000? And I just said, fuck, with the political situation it is, anything can happen in this world. And of course, we're just, you can't even see our original buy levels on this damn coin anymore, right? And every time the darn thing doubles, we'll just keep selling another half on a double. We got 2 cars running on this thing now. So, and this is the beauty of running a nice diversified portfolio, is we're just going to slowly we're here, we're doing business, we're doing our work. We are just traders. We trade, right? And I'm not here to extol the virtues of any particular coin. Frankly, they're all the same in my eyes. And I'm just here to make money from trading. It turns out that today we're making money from trading in swing. Why swing? I don't know. But here we are. We're making money from trading. That's what we do. So there's your basic market graph. Holy fucking insane market. Hope you guys are enjoying the ride. I mean, my attitude for everybody in the stock market, and I say this repeatedly in the lounge, and on our site, is we trade setups, opinions. I mean, clearly nobody saw this coming last night. And look at this, the fucking S&Ps are up 16 points now. We're going to go to a new all-time highs here today. Nobody expected this. And really, my advice to everybody is just, don't be a hero. And learn from this, that big fundamental news events, you are best just to sit on the sidelines and let somebody else try and be a hero here. Literally, I watched over the past 24 hours, some traders declare victory. They're basically buying hookers and cigars for everybody. And ironically enough, I don't think they were able to realize those profits. I mean, that sucks. And then conversely, I know one gentleman in particular who put on a huge long bet, and he was dying 1,000 deaths last night. And thank fucking God for him, the market actually did what it did, and he was able to get out unscathed. So guys, seriously, this is massive confusion in here. Just let everything settle down. And trade setups, right? Hunt for your setups. If you got your reasons, great, take the trade. If you don't, leave it alone. Okay, I think I'll get off my bully pulpit. You guys have yourselves a great day. I got a bunch of blog posts to do because we've been doing a ton of fucking profit taking here. Been buying a little bit of this Max coin here. And, this is just to finish off the tail, right? I mean, it's interesting. I am in here buying stuff, and good old little nibble strategy. We're not going to bet the farm on any one trade, you know me. And I've got a bunch of blog posts to do because I'm falling behind a little bit here. But nonetheless, I am buying stuff. But I absolutely guarantee you, this stuff that I'm buying, nobody else is interested in. And then, of course, when it starts going nuts, right, that's when I'm going to be tweeting out, banging out doubles and all that kind of crap, and taking profits. But at the same time I'm doing this, I'm actually in buying stuff in the marketplace, but the stuff that I'm buying, nobody's interested in. So go figure, right? Okay, guys, why don't we leave it at that? You have yourselves a great day. Good luck in following your training plans. All the best, and bye for now.